Is this the season that proves Newcastle can't win without their phantom striker? After a goalless draw that should have been 3 points, the answer might shock you. What's up, Toon Army? This is NUFC Quick News, your source for raw black and white passion. We're coming to you live from the aftermath of what should have been a statement win at Villa Park. Let me tell you something that the mainstream media won't touch. Alexander Isak has been subject of a $110 million plus add-ons bid from Liverpool, which was rejected by Newcastle, and right now he's training away from the first team like a ghost haunting the club. But here's what Daily Mail's Craig Hope witnessed firsthand at Villa Park. For Newcastle, absence makes the heart grow angrier, not fonder. Toon Army. What do you make of a player earning $140,000 a week who refuses to put on the shirt? Hope's analysis was brutal and honest. The one place he did not want to be was with his teammates and his manager and the staff who have made him one of the world's best strikers. He is currently the most famous striker in world football, alright? Albeit of the refusing to come to work variety. That's not just reporting, that's the raw truth about modern football. Newcastle created chances, had territory, and were the better team, but they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Sound familiar? That's because without their main striker, this team is like a car without an engine. It looks good, but it won't take you where you need to go. Craig Hope was at Villa Park and witnessed Newcastle's dominance firsthand. His description paints the perfect picture. Eddie Howe, remarkably on the back of such a disorderly summer, had everything primed for an opening day heist. The problem was, the getaway driver was at home on Tyneside. What's your honest opinion? Can you win a heist without your getaway driver? Newcastle had 16 shots at Villa Park. 16! But Hope hit the nail on the head. It felt as if they had turned up for a game of poker with nothing higher than an 8. What they really needed was a 9. That 9 was sitting at home, refusing to do his job. The details Hope captured show just how close Newcastle came. Anthony Elanga, just 3 minutes into his Newcastle career, goes through on goal but never looked convincing, evidenced by a shot that was all too comfortable for Marco Bizzo to save. Then Anthony Gordon gets a free header on the edge of the 6-yard area, but a free header morphed into a free shoulder. So untidy was the connection. Hope was crystal clear about what this means. There is no other way to dress it up. Isak would have scored from one of the 16 shots his team had here. But the painful reality is that even without Isak, Hope pointed out that his teammates should have done far better with many of those anyway. Isak or no Isak, Premier League and international footballers can still show better composure and execution than Newcastle did. Toon Army, is this Isak's fault, or are the players letting the situation get in their heads? Hope witnessed the growing frustration on the touchline. Each time, you could sense the growing anguish of Howe and assistant Jason Tyndall on the touchline. The story they feared would unfold. Play well, don't score, did. And there was an inevitability to it from the very start. That's the mark of a quality reporter, reading the game beyond just the action. Here's what really captured the mood at Villa Park. Hope reported that after the final whistle, the away fans sang, "There's only one greedy bag." And you know what? They had every right to be angry. As Hope perfectly put it, the frustration for them is that their team played with the hunger to open the season with a deserved win. The supporters see what we all see, a team that's ready to compete being held back by one player's selfishness. Hope's analysis was spot on. There will be anger after this, perhaps more so than a longing for his return. Toon Army, when the fans are calling out a player like this, isn't it time for action? Hope's most insightful observation shows just how deep this problem goes. As long as Isak is not there, he is there. His absence an omnipresent source of doubt and distraction. Think about that for a second. The ghost of a player who won't play is haunting every chance, every shot, every attack. Look at Harvey Barnes. Hope saw him find the top tier with a shot from a position in which he usually finds the top corner. Was that the pressure? Hope asked the key question. Was that the pressure of knowing his late chance was going to be their best shot at winning the game? What's worse, Toon Army, having no striker or having a striker who won't play. Anthony Gordon had a clumsy touch in the penalty area when his control is ordinarily second nature. These are quality players crumbling under the psychological pressure of carrying a team that should have its main striker available. Hope perfectly captured Howe's dilemma. For Howe, Isak is both the problem and the solution. Think about that. The manager knows exactly what the team needs, but he can't use it because the player won't cooperate. Hope was brutal in his assessment. Howe says they have to find a way to score without Isak, but that feels like baking a cake without flour. When it comes to it, they just cannot rise to that challenge. That's the reality. You can't replace world-class talent with tactical systems alone. How can Eddie Howe solve a puzzle when the most important piece refuses to play? The manager wants resolution, and Hope captured this perfectly. Howe wants a resolution to the situation as soon as possible, be that by Isak's return or his sale and replacements brought in. Because for now, the phantom striker is haunting his club. The manager is trying to stay diplomatic, but you can see the frustration. Newcastle rejected Liverpool's opening bid because Newcastle's asking price for Isak is 150 million euros, which eliminates all but a handful of clubs. They want him to stay, but they can't force him to want to be there. The cold, hard truth about what's coming. Here's what Hope knows that others won't say. Even if he agrees to train and play tomorrow, which he won't, the 2 points lost at Villa Park will never be retrieved. The club record fine that is coming Isak's way won't be nearly enough should those points prove the difference between finishing positions come May. That's the brutal reality. Every point dropped because of this drama could be the difference between European football and mid-table mediocrity. Hope understands what's at stake better than most. Town Army. Is a club record fine enough punishment for sabotaging the season opener? The most damning part of Hope's analysis. During the final half hour against 10 men, Newcastle had just one shot on target, and that was a speculative Gordon effort from range. They could have played all day, and the only thing that would have gone in was the sun. When you're dominant against 10 men and still can't score, you know the problem runs deep. Hope captured the mood perfectly when he described the supporters' reaction post-match. The support during the game was fantastic, but afterward, the frustration boiled over, and rightfully so. You're paying to watch players who want to be there, not someone counting down the days until they can leave. The irony is painful. Newcastle have one of the best strikers in Europe, but he'd rather be anywhere else. Meanwhile, teams like Brighton and Brentford maximize every ounce of talent they have because their players actually want to wear the shirt. Craig Hope's final assessment cuts to the bone. So, if Isak isn't going to return, a new striker must be bought. Because the mere presence of a specialist forward you suspect will ease the weight on others. This isn't just about goals, it's about psychology, pressure, and team dynamics. Hope has watched this team enough to know that they need more than tactical adjustments. They need a striker who actually wants to wear the shirt. Final question for you. Town Army, how many more points will Newcastle drop before this phantom striker situation is resolved? Hope witnessed a Newcastle team that looked united for the first time after a chaotic summer, but they're being haunted by a player who's chosen to be anywhere except where his teammates need him. That's not just a football problem. That's a betrayal of everything this club stands for. This situation can't drag on forever. And Newcastle fans deserve better than this ongoing soap opera. The club, the manager, and the supporters have done their part. Now it's time for decisive action. Smash that like button if you're tired of the Isak drama and want to see Newcastle move forward with players who actually want to be here. Hit subscribe to never miss our latest takes on the black and white revolution. Until next time, stay proud, stay loud, and always keep the faith. Away the lads!